Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for World Series of Fighting 3, Fitch versus Burkman, which happens on June 14. Card's alright, to be perfectly honest with you. There's not much to say. There's a couple good prospects on here, like Justin Gaethje and whatnot. So that's definitely a plus. But yeah, let's get right to it. Okay, Josh Burkman fights John Fitch in the main event. Fitch beat Burkman in the UFC back in April 2006 by rear naked choke already. If you know Fitch's game, he Fitches opponents. Relentless about getting takedowns. He's a grinder, good top control, really good submission defense, and does like a stay busy type of ground and pound. His stand up. It's good. It's average, but it's definitely not great, you know. The other thing that's interesting too with Fitch is like he is 35 years old. You can't really tell if he's like in the down slope of his career or not. It's kind of tough to say. Bergman has been doing really good. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Just knocked out Aaron Simpson in his last fight. He trains at Team Quest. 25-9 record. He's been around the block. He's always been like one of those guys who's doesn't really excel anywhere, but he's good everywhere. Stand up solid. He can knock guys out. He can submit guys. He has 9 wins by submission. Also 5 losses by submission as well. He's not a bad wrestler himself. Despite all that, it's Fitch. I think that Fitch is gonna do what he usually does: grind against his, grind him out, get the takedowns, grind him out, and possibly get a decision. Curious to see if we'll see a more exciting Fitch. He'll try and go for the finish or whatnot. Usually that's predicated on his opponent as well, like Eric Silva, for example. If someone goes after Fitch, then he'll go after you. But if you just kind of just play defense, he's just going to grind you out. Next fight after that, we got Tyson Steele versus Steve Carl. Tyson Steele, 10-1 record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 7 wins by sub, 26-year-old, and is on a 4-fight win streak. Steve Carl, 19-3 record. He has, double the amount of fights. 14 of those wins are by submission. He's on a 5-fight win streak. And within that 5-fight win streak, all of his wins were subs in the first round. He does have strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's fought in Bellator a couple times as well. I'll go with Steve Carl to win this one. Next fight after that is the fight I'm looking forward to the most, as Brian Cobb fights Justin Gaethje. Cobb's, he's a veteran. He's 20-7, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 12 wins by sub. He's 32 years old. He's always, he's a good wrestler, but a strong grappler overall. Really good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But with Justin, 8-0, undefeated record. 6 of those wins by KO or TKO. He just beat Jay-Z Cavalcante. Just, trains at Grudge. 24 years old. Good wrestler himself. Really high pressure. Really pushes forward. Solid stand-up. He definitely has some power in his strikes. I'll go with the young prospect, Justin Gaethje, to win this one. And finally, Lyle Beerbohm fights Jacob Volkmann. Beerbohm credits himself as a black belt in scrambling. He does have good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills, as 11 of 21 of his wins are by submission. His stand-up's not bad either. He's 34 years old, on a 6-fight win streak. Volkmann, I think he's not Christmas anymore. I think he changed his nickname. 32 years old, trains at Minnesota Martial Arts Academy. He's a strong wrestler, good top control, relentless about getting takedowns. Volkmann's definitely a grinder, deceptively strong. He's really, like I said, really relentless about getting takedowns. This fight is interesting because Beerbohm likes to scramble. So if you go into ground with him, he'll find any opportunity to scramble back to his feet. And he has good submissions himself. So it's kind of tough to say. I gotta go with Jacob Volkmann to win this one. But I think this fight's gonna be really interesting. Okay, on the prelims, which will be on MMA Junkie actually. You have John Gunderson versus Dan Lozon. Lozon has a 16-4 record, 9 wins by KO TKO, 7 wins by sub. He is a finisher. He's on a 4-fight win streak right now, and his last 3 fights never went past the first round. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu solid, striking solid as well. Dan Lozon's shown motivation issues in the past, especially in the UFC. Gunderson has a wealth of experience though. 34-14 record with 2 draws, 4 wins by KO TKO, 27 wins by sub. Trains at Syndicate MMA. I think guys like Vinny Magalesh, if I'm not mistaken, is training there. Among other guys, some really good guys are training out of Syndicate now. Very experienced fighter, as you can see with his record. I'll go with John Gunderson to win this one. Okay, next fight is that Kendrick Murray fights Kresmir, the wrestler, Mladenov. Kendrick is undefeated, 5-0 record. 1 win by a KO and 4 wins by sub. He's 30 years old. Trains at American Top Team Atlanta. He is a finisher, and he's never been past the second round. Kresmir is 9-0 undefeated, with 1 win by TKO, 4 wins by sub, 27 years old. 3 of his submission victories are actually by key lock, and he is a good wrestler. It's really tough to say who's going to win this one. Both undefeated, I'll go with the wrestler here, Krasimir Mladenov. The next fight after that, Jared Sanders fights Jeff Smith. My bad. Okay, Jeff Smith, 10-1 record, 7 wins by sub, 25 years old. And his only loss is his first pro MMA fight. He's actually on a 10-fight win streak. Jared Sanders, though, 12-1 record, 2 wins by KO TKO, 6 wins by sub. He's on a 10-fight win streak as well. Trains at American Top Team, Oklahoma City. He was an NCAA All-American wrestler at Oklahoma State University. He has strong chokes. If you look at his record, he has a lot of Bravo chokes and whatnot. So his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is pretty solid. I'll go with Jared Sanders to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, Carson Beebe fights Joe Murphy. This one's tough for me to call. Murphy's 6-0 undefeated. 5 of those wins are by submission. Good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. Carson has a lot more experience though. 13-2 record. 2 wins by KO TKO, 5 wins by sub. He's only 24 years old. He's always been kind of a guy that's kind of living in the shadow of Chase in a sense. But he's a good fighter, only 2 losses, good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills and whatnot. I'll go with the more experienced Carson Beebe to win this one. And finally, Josh Montalvo fights Brenson Hansen. I know nothing about Montalvo. He has no amateur or pro fight record that I know of. But with Brenson Hansen, 4-1 record, 1 win by KO, 3 wins by decision, 2-fight win streak, and trains at Extreme Couture. I'll go with Brenson Hansen to win this one. So, to recap the main card, I have Fitch over Burkman, Steve Carl over Tyson Steele, Justin Gaethje beating Brian Cobb, and Jacob Volkmann beating Lyle Beerbohm. Okay. On to prelims, I have John Gunderson beating Dan Lozon, Krasimir Mladenov beating Kendrick Murray, Jared Sanders beating Jeff Smith, Carson Beebe beating Joe Murphy, and Brenson Hansen beating Josh Montalvo. So that's pretty much it for my predictions for the World Series of Fighting 3. If you have any comments, just leave them below. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.